Welcome to the 359. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Alfred Ng.
So this happened late last week, but we have to talk about the big Apple leaks from 9to5Mac. They posted some photos of the new images and specifically gave us a name to work on, the iPhone XS or the iPhone XS, if you want to go with the official naming scheme. And then a leak of the Apple Watch Series 4. Not a lot huge in terms of difference with the iPhone in particular, but it has me kind of confused about the naming scheme, if it's the XS or the XS, but they're three different
Or
iPhones.
the 10s.
Or the 10.
Yeah.
How is that going to work?
I you know what? I'm not really excited about it. I guess they have a new color or something like that.
Gold.
Boy. I mean, I'm sure the camera's going to be better. I'm sure the processor's going to be better. I'm sure there's probably going to be some new way to unlock your phone, or like Face ID is improved.
Well, I think the big thing here is the confirmation that we're all getting notches. If you're an iPhone user looking to upgrade, you're going to end up with a notch, because notches will be on all the new phones.
What if the circle on the invite was actually a very zoomed in headphone jack, and they're bringing it back? That's very wishful thinking.
That
but
is
that's not
extremely
happen.
wishful thinking and highly unlikely. Well, we also wanted to talk about the Apple Watch Series 4. That's actually getting a facelift after 3 years of pretty much the same looking watch. It looks a little bit flatter, maybe thinner. I'm not sure. And like the iPhone 10, smaller bezels, bigger display.
Give a notch on the watch too. The notch watch.
Well, I like that. The watch notch. But you know what? That at least that's something for smartwatch fans to get excited about. It is at least a new looking device, a newish looking device. Next up, we want to wish a happy birthday to Chrome. The browser celebrates its 10th anniversary. The 10th anniversary of its launch today. It's gone from this kind of tiny project that was initially laughed at to now the most dominant browser in the world.
It's insane. So Google Chrome has actually had the longest reign on top of like popular browsers out of everybody. They
surprising,
exceeded,
right?
Like Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a default. It's still not a default like browser that's built in on any computer. I mean, unless you're using Chromebooks, obviously.
Right. But people actively have to like download and use it. Right. And look, there have been a lot of positives for Chrome. We should list out the fact that it's really sped things up, right? They've really kind of pushed the industry to move faster with browsers. They made the mobile experience a lot better. They've also helped set up a lot of standards. But it's gotten to the point where it's so powerful. We have to ask if that's a great thing.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of people are turning on Chrome in the sense of, Mozilla now, along with other browsers like DuckDuckGo. Well, no, DuckDuckGo is a search engine. Brave, is what I was thinking of. Have been basically blocking trackers by default. Safari does the same thing now.
Yep.
Google is kind of in a weird area with that because of the nature of how Google makes its money.
Exactly.
As one of the top, probably the top like advertisers online, they really rely on that tracking data.
Right.
So that's one issue. The other issue is, if everyone's using Chrome, then there's not really that much room for like diversity or changes or anything like that. So like if you ever tried using Slack on a non-Chrome browser or even Gmail, like they'll keep nudging you. It's like, hey, would you like to download Chrome?
Yep.
So I think that's like the bigger challenge for Chrome now.
All right, lastly, Facebook, Google, and Twitter are appearing before Congress tomorrow to talk about the impact of foreign influence on social media. That's especially timely given the upcoming midterm elections. Alfred, what are you expecting here?
I mean, I think, a lot of it will be Facebook, Twitter, and Google basically running up what they've said for the last few months now, the efforts that they've put in to try to detect these, influence campaign from foreign nations. This Iran discovery that was revealed a few weeks ago, that will probably take a big part of it, and as well as a response or an answer to President Trump's tweets about, censoring conservative voices on their platforms. I think that will get a lot of playtime as well.
All right. So for full coverage of the hearings, follow us on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Alfred Ng.
Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us for the recording. Wow. Yikes. Cannot talk today. The recording of the audio podcast. You'll find out where to subscribe and listen to that down below and shortly in the show. Right now, we're going to dive into the chat and dig out your questions and comments and keep the conversation going. Thanks everybody again for joining us. Let's start off with one of my favorite conspiracy theorists, APEC. I think Apple leaked this themselves.
Ooh, why?
I don't.
Why would
why?
they?
Like, if they would leak something themselves, wouldn't they leak something
To be
like,
fair, it was
more exciting?
I think they got the information from a 9 to 5 got that information from a source that was within Apple that like was accidentally streamed out. So I think it was. The leak
Technically,
was
all
unintentional.
leaks are from the companies themselves.
Right, but like this was like I mean this was an unintentional stream, right? That
Yeah.
I think they were kind of running. Yeah, they definitely wasn't planned at all. This wasn't like a leak that they had planted.
Of all the leaks, this would probably be the most boring one I've seen.
Right, here's a phone that we've seen, and well, the watch was kind of exciting because it was confirmation that we are getting a different, even if it's slightly different, a tweaked version of the Apple Watch.
Give me an Apple Watch with a camera.
You really want a camera?
No, but give me one. Like,
Wh-
literally, just give
why?
me an Apple Watch for free.
Oh. All right, well, I can't help you there.
And if it has a camera, then that's
all the better.
Yeah.
We the original Gear, the Samsung. Maybe
Wasn't that
it's not
camera
Gear.
like awful?
Yeah, well, there was a camera in the strap, and when you did this, it looks super creepy.
Of course,
Like
yeah.
you walk around and be like, "Hey."
You do this without a camera on. You do this on a normal
Actually,
watch,
that looks
and it
creepy
still
too.
looks
You're
even
right.
creepy. Like,
You're right.
Send them in. Send them in.
But no, I don't think this is Apple's intention. They usually try to keep a fairly tight ship. Obviously, leaks happen all the time with Apple, so that's kind of a comical statement. But Apple, I doubt this was intended. Right?
You guys ready for another?
Yeah.
Okay, here's
yeah.
one from Connor Hearn. This was a recent one. Don't worry, I'll go back. There's a lot piling up. From Connor Hearn, why not the 2018 iPhone, the 6.1 inch, the 5.8 inch be the iPhone Pro? That's why would we go that boring? With the S convention, aren't they going to try to work in the S convention?
I feel like Apple does a lot of great things. Naming products is not one of them.
Right. And sometimes they're a little arbitrary, right? They're
yeah.
like they have numbers and then they drop the numbers and then they add words to them. It's all kind of it's hard to guess what Apple's going to do because they seem to switch things up a lot.
Yeah, remember the
name
SE where
Right.
the name doesn't even really matter anymore.
Well, and I think there's going to be an S. Isn't there still another S?
Okay, but
coming?
like what they call it, I'm just purely naming alone, like just that. Like,
Right.
What are they gonna call it? Like the SE2? I don't really like. This doesn't make any sense to me.
I think they just didn't for the sequel. They just kept calling it the iPhone SE.
That might also work. They should just do that. They should stop with numbers and just like come out with a new
The
version.
iPhone.
Yeah,
They just call it the iPhone. The problem is though they've got 3 models of the iPhone.
I feel
So
like
it's not really the.
It's definitely all
it's-
like a marketing thing. It's like, oh, do you have an iPhone 10 or do you have an iPhone 10s?
Right. Well,
Like,
I think it's gonna be a little
How
bit-
rich are you?
It's going to be a little confusing this time around because it's going to be like, do you have the iPhone XS with extra small? The 10s? What are you going to call this thing?
Numbers are a very uncreative way to name your stuff.
Yes. So I think it was fine when we were at the lower numbers, but now that we've gotten to like 10 generations, we're kind of like.
Just call it the iPhone. That's what like the WWE did that with like WrestleMania. After like 30, they just started
Is
it's
that
just
true?
WrestleMania
I didn't know that.
now.
So it's
yeah.
just WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's take a cue from Vince McMahon. Maybe not.
Like, it's
Maybe
such a-
not.
it's
Not
such-
great life advice.
That's terrible advice, actually.
It's such
yeah.
a household product or name now that like you just call it that and you're just like
True.
I have the new iPhone. You don't have to.
But how can you tell people that you have the new iPhone if it
It's
doesn't
just
have a
like-
different name?
Just put the year on it. Right?
Yeah.
If they're going to be lame about their naming convention anyway.
All right.
Just like
I've got the iPhone
I've got the 2018 Camaro
2018.
and the 2018 iPhone.
Except there's 3 versions of it. So I've got the really big version of the iPhone 2018 version. There's like a
Sure.
jumbo version.
We shouldn't even
Sure,
have
why not?
episode.
Well,
we-
what's really confusing is at least the rumors point to 3 models, but they aren't like large, middle, small. It's like there's the large one, and then there's a smaller one that's kind of like the iPhone 10 now, and then there's another large one but with cheaper components. So, okay, kind of confusing.
Going back on my previous analogy, what if they did this with cars? What if there was like a 2018 Corvette XS, Corvette XL?
I mean, there are, right?
I mean, there's
Yeah, I
different
don't know
engine
car-
sizes, but I mean literally car sizes.
No, they're not. They're not sizes, but they're trims, right? If you
They're
if you get-
styles,
if you get like a
sure.
Camry, there's like the LE, XE. There's all these different trims. They
I'm
they
literally thinking, like-
upsell the crap
I
out
don't
of you
know.
in the
Like
car
they don't
industry.
do that
Clown
with
car.
like sneakers either. Like they don't call it like the Air Jordan ones like 2018 edition or something like
Yeah,
that.
but there's only
Like,
one Air Jordan that they sell, right?
no,
It's
but
not
they
like,
they make like OG editions.
no,
and
no.
stuff
But
every
I'm saying
year.
like when they release one, they don't release like 3 variants, do they?
Kind of, they do. Like there'll be like the Gatorade Jordans and like all this other stuff, but like you just know it from like the way that it looks or something like that. Or you can look out on the inside and it'll tell you the year.
Well, I wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
Nor would I care.
Yeah, but like you can make the same argument for like people's phones. Like you don't look at someone else's phone. And be
I
like,
would argue more people.
that's the.
I would guess more people look at phones than they do shoes.
I guess,
Sneakerheads are hardcore, but I don't think
Yeah.
they're as large
I mean,
a base
like-
as phone fans.
Like with like the smartwatch or like the Apple Watch, like
Yeah.
just call it the like. I mean, they'll do like Series 1 or Series 2 or
Right,
whatever, but
right.
like throughout it, they just say iPhone, like
Apple
like
Watch.
Apple Watch,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
They should do that for their phones. Like just avoid all
True.
this confusion.
True.
The watches aren't as precious as the phones. Sorry to get us off topic. I just had this funny image in my head of like clown car sized sport cars, pocket size, as opposed to like smaller phone screens and stuff. Sorry. My imagination runs when Apple gives me boring headlines. Let's go ahead and take some more questions from Sarai and Ahmed. Is the headphone jack back?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Will it have a notch?
Yes. All notches all the time. I'm sorry to say, if you want to upgrade to a new iPhone this year, you're gonna have to have a notch. So you gotta start learning to live with a notch, because it's at least it's here to stay for another year.
Or don't upgrade your phone. You don't really need to
Or-
feed into consumer culture every
Or
day.
buy an Android phone.
Yeah.
Although most Android phones now have notches.
Or don't buy anything. Just be happy with what you have. You know, your phone is
Ooh.
like lasted you for a pretty long time. You
Wow,
don't have to get a
Alfred.
new phone every year.
Alfred, I'll be the first to say it's been great working with you.
You do know where we work, right?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
I'm here as the counterculture report.
There you go.
Fight against the machine, guys.
There you
Okay,
go.
from Rakesh, this is a really premature question, but do we have any thoughts about where the price is going to take us?
No, I think everything we've seen is. I think the starting price might be lower than last year's, with that lower end model with like the bigger size but the cheaper components, like no OLED display. I don't know if it'll have Face ID. It probably will. It won't have like the nicer camera. I suspect that'll be closer to the original 650 or maybe a little bit more expensive. That the pricing kind of began at the year before, like back in 2017, they kind of started raising the prices. With the iPhone 8, but I imagine the prices will be very similar in alignment with last year's. Although with the $1,000 price tag, that'll get you probably the bigger iPhone 10s follow-up.
Do you remember when the 10 first came out and everyone was like, "Oh my god, $1,000 for a phone?
Yeah.
That's crazy. No one's gonna pay for that."
Yeah.
And then Apple's sales like just kind of like, like jokes on you.
Yeah,
And then the Note 9 recently came. That's like what, like
that's also $1,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
When do you think we're gonna get to a $2,000 phone, and why will it be Apple to get us there?
It'll be Apple. It won't be for a while. I'm guessing like a few years, 5 years maybe. I don't know. If you think it started out at $650, it took us about
10 years.
10 years to get to 1,000.
You think it'll be another 10 years before
no,
2000
not
though?
5 years. It'll be like, yeah, maybe 10 years. I don't know. We'll see how inflation works too.
I like Apex's suggestion that the iPhones should just start using coffee sizes for names. That would be so synonymous
like
and
a
easy
venti?
to see. Yeah.
Well, that's a Starbucks price. Why don't you
Yeah.
just go with small, medium, and large? I'd be okay with that. Give them T-shirt sizes, if anything.
Nah, they'd partner up with Starbucks. They'd totally do it. It's totally apropos.
I know. I would be pretty annoyed because I get those sizes mixed up constantly. I don't go to Starbucks enough to like know what the sizes are. Like I don't know what a venti is. Is that a medium? Is that a small? What is that?
I actually don't go to Starbucks.
Yeah, I don't either. So
I don't drink coffee. So
I try not to drink Starbucks coffee.
You guys are in the minority here.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take some more. We got about, maybe 7 minutes left in the show. Help me keep an eye on the clock, guys.
All right.
Will the iPhone be dual SIM? And that's coming from Mode.
I believe the rumors point to at least some variants of the iPhone having dual SIM, but they won't be coming to the U.S. They'll probably be coming to India, certain emerging markets where dual SIM phones are a lot more popular.
give me dual SIMs on the watches.
That's a big watch you're asking
Yeah,
for.
I don't need it at all.
What do you? You wouldn't even pay for the one SIM. That was the other rumor that we didn't really break into. We didn't talk about in the during the podcast, was that I think the Apple Watch is going with all LTE models. They're not going to have like a Wi-Fi only model. Like you have to buy. You don't
That's
necessarily have to
frustrating.
subscribe, but you have to like. They're basically just
Oh.
breaking it down to like here's one like LTE plus Wi-Fi model for you to get. You don't have to use the LTE capability, but it's there anyways.
That is frustrating because like, the Wi-Fi only model is always like the cheaper
The cheaper one, yeah. We'll see what they do
but
with the pricing.
I do enjoy like, if I am really like I'm really interested in like using your watch as a phone just because like
Yeah.
I would like to spend less time,
Right.
looking at my phone all the time.
Yep.
That being said, I know it's not exactly feasible, like from all the reviews that we've done of the calling ability.
If you leave your watch and just, leave your phone and just rely on your watch solely, you're getting like maybe an hour of
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah.
it's not great.
Yeah, and also that being said, like I don't even I think I was really excited about it when I first I was like, oh, I can make all these calls with just my phone, and then I was like, I'm 25, I don't really like make phone calls anymore.
Right.
Like it's all just text, so I don't really need this.
Well, you can text.
Yes.
So there you go.
Hey, let's say hello to our old buddy Carlos in the chat. We haven't heard from him in a while. What's up, Carlos?
Hey, Carlos.
He says, I told you a few weeks ago that the iPhone for this year is going to be called the iPhone XS or 10s. I wonder if the other one could possibly be the iPhone 10C or 9C.
Is this a very subtle way to like leak something to us? Because if so, I'm very interested.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think they're getting away from the C naming
That was just
naming
for
scheme.
color edition, though, right?
That was like the cheap plastic
The C
one.
might as well have just stood for cheap.
Yeah, it was.
I thought they were the ones that came in like multicolored.
It was like
that
the
was their only
plastic. It was
gimmick to
1
sell it.
year,
They only did it once.
and they just killed it and sort of like forgotten at this
It wasn't
point.
even just to change color. I had like
What was it,
worse
was it
parts
the
on the
7C
inside.
or
It was
6C?
5C. It was only the
5C.
5C.
It was that long ago.
I almost
yeah.
got one, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
So that's
there
the
you
whole
go.
story.
That was a good story.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take some questions about peripherals. From Yelenar, will Apple release a new MacBook? From Alberto, will they be releasing an Apple charging mat? See, that's a good question.
Oh,
that
so
you might see.
the AirPower. It's AirPower, I believe, the big charging pad that you can do your phone and your watch, everything, and your AirPods. They introduced that last year, and we still haven't seen it yet. So I'm really hoping that we actually get some sort of confirmation on when they'll actually sell this thing, because I know a lot of people have been asking for it. MacBooks, don't expect to see any MacBooks next week. They'll likely announce those in a separate event or announcement in October. This next week will be all iPhone and Apple Watch.
Got it. APAC, why is Apple releasing the iPhone 9 basically a month after the iPhone XS and X? Why not release them all at once? So you buy all of them?
Wait, what?
This is like a release date thing.
Yeah, he's asking release dates. Why do they pile them on like
They
that?
did the same thing for the 8 and the 10.
Well, just to be clear, there is no iPhone 9.
Oh, is there?
There's no iPhone 9 at all. It's just the iPhone XS. They're the 3 models. They'll all be introduced on one day. I don't know when the launch will be. I think the launches will likely be dependent upon how quickly they can produce these phones, and less about staggering the release date.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, do you think that they'll spread it out like they did for the 8 and the 10?
Well, the thing of it is, with the 10, it got pushed back because they had to, because of production issues.
Oh.
It wasn't a strategy that they had to like stagger the releases. If they could, they would have released everything at the same time, but there were production issues that slowed it down to the point where they had to hold that back a little. And then even early on, like, at least they sort of hinted at the fact that supply would be an issue. It turned out that wasn't the case, but they were even sort of telegraphing limited inventory with the iPhone 10 last year. That's why there was a bit of a staggered release. But this year, again, to be clear, there's no indication that we've heard of like an iPhone 9. I think it's all going to be iPhone. That's why I'm really confused, because there's 3 models.
So they're just on X now?
And they'll all just be X, S, X, whatever. And it kind of makes sense because they're all using the iPhone 10's design scheme of the notch, right? And theoretically Face ID. So it kind of makes sense, because it just would be weird to bring back the iPhone 9.
Yeah, if there's any one of those that doesn't have a notch, like that's going to be the cheap one.
Well, that's the thing. They all have notches.
Yeah. According to the leak, at least. We don't know.
No, I think we're pretty sure that the notch will be on every phone.
Oh.
It's just the cheaper one will have cheaper specs.
We got a couple late ones to the game here. What's up, James Fever? A couple of questions coming in at the 11th hour that are really good. Now that we've talked about the mat, the wireless charging mat, What's the status of wireless charging in new phones? Do we think we're going to see a better improved speed? How much so? I think inevitably they're going to try to improve it, but will it really be something to sneeze at? Secondly, any updates to AirPods or AirPod cases? That's a good thought now that we're getting new phones.
You're right. You know what? That might be a possibility.
AirPods will probably be the most exciting thing if there is AirPod news, honestly.
I hope there is some sort of update to them. Maybe they're cheaper, hopefully.
Nah,
Yeah, you're right. I'm just being wishful there. Yeah, there's a likelihood we'll see an update. I don't think we've seen a lot of leaks on new AirPods or new AirPod accessories, but we might see something. Kind of like how we saw the charging case last year. We might see something different. I don't know. Maybe they last longer or something.
Yeah, if anything, they'll probably do like some sort of like software update for it, where like, oh, this will connect like more easily with your new iPhone or something.
And as for wireless charging itself, yeah, I really hope that Apple starts speeding up the charging times. Other phones, especially Android, Samsung phones, they typically charge faster when you're wirelessly charging a phone. So I'm really hoping that Apple's done a bit more work, worked with the Qi, the Wireless Power Consortium. This is the group that manages the Qi technology to actually speed things up a bit.
Just a bit off topic, just some breaking news here. Sorry, Amazon's market value has hit $1 trillion now, making them the second American company to do this after
Look
Apple.
At that. Okay.
Good job, Jeffy.
Neither of us have a stake in Amazon, so we don't really care.
Yeah.
But congrats to Amazon for hitting that milestone.
All right, we are damn near out of time, and it's unfortunate because there's still such a great flood of comments coming in. I'm sure we'll have a few more episodes about this in the surrounding weeks, so make sure to come on back. But before we go, I just like that everyone now is like, what's a notch? Are you going to get a notch on the watch? Watch notch. But before that, one word I keep seeing floating around the chat is ceramic. That would be an interesting thought. Is there a ceramic material phone out there right now? And when and if do we think Apple or any of the big boys are going to go that direction?
I can't rule out as some Chinese maker having put out a ceramic phone. I feel like that has happened. I know Apple uses ceramic for their watch. The super high-end model of the Apple Watch is ceramic. There are a lot of benefits to it. It's more scratch-proof. I think it's more durable. And it's a different material. I don't think Apple is going to introduce ceramic this year or in the foreseeable future. It's really expensive, and so it might be cost prohibitive to add ceramic. So, maybe that's when that $2,000 Apple iPhone kicks in, is when it's all ceramic.
Only the notch is ceramic. It does nothing to help. But
Okay. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We're out of time. Tomorrow, because of the Senate hearings and the House congressional hearings with Google and Facebook and Twitter, as we previously mentioned in the stories, we are going to be in a bit of a flux. We're probably going to be late at best, leaning towards 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Not really sure. It's really going to depend on how the cases unfold, because we are streaming those, so make sure to come back and subscribe for that. Don't forget to like that smash button. Wait, that's not right. Alfred, help me.
What? What are you asking?
Smash that something button.
Smash that like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
So anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully it's sometime.
All right, 359 is available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, FeedBurner, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, the Amazon Echo, and of course, CNET.com. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye, folks.
Or won't. I don't know.
I'll be here.
The hearing is going on.